So, welcome everyone to episode 24 of Follow My Tracers. I am one of your hosts, Figure09, aka Tony, and today I'm joined by Power Grudge, the man, Jim. I don't have a big write-up for you this week because I didn't want to say the same thing 3 weeks in a row, but yeah, what's up?
You're not gonna need it because it's not Jim this week. Once again,
Yo, it's me. It's DDP.
Hell yeah.
I think that explains it anyway. I'm doing good.
You should change your thing to DDP on Discord.
I should. Maybe I'll do that
Yeah.
during the show. Ooh. No, I don't want to screw up the audio, so I'm gonna do it after the show. But
Okay.
and make a note in the YouTube search bar, DDP, so I can see
Yes.
it. Okay. No, I'm good though. Work was busy this week. I don't know. I've been tired like every day after work. I haven't been like too high energy when it comes to week anyway. Has work been picking up for you again?
You cut out during a lot of that. Hello?
Hello? Are you there?
Hello?
Oh no. Hello?
Hi.
Maybe it is the gameplay, man. I don't know. Maybe the gameplay's all...
The gameplay was fine last week. It's not the gameplay.
Oh. Is it just because it's just you and I?
It shouldn't be. I mean,
Do
the
we
thing
need, like,
is, like, I'm looking at
a
like the
bridge
stats right
between us?
now, and it's not like we're dropping, you know, a lot of frames or anything like that. So I don't know what's going on. I think it might be Discord.
Okay, I think we're caught up though.
I don't know about that. I don't think we are. Yeah. Wait. Talk.
Oh. Talk. Spaghetti.
Okay.
I'm just repeating what you say.
Yeah. Okay.
Pretty
that's
much.
what I was hoping for. Okay. Let's continue to try to power through here.
Oh God.
So I noticed I have Discord open on my second monitor right now. And when I minimized Discord, things lagged.
Okay.
So maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know.
Okay, if anybody listening is technically savvy, because I'm not for sure. I think Tony more technically tech savvy than I am. But if anybody knows any fix, leave a comment so that we know, or just talk live in the chat. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I don't know. Okay, maybe it's not okay.
I don't
power through.
I
I'm
don't
just gonna
think
keep
it's
going.
either of us. I think it's either Discord or I don't know. It's something weird. I'm just gonna leave the window open. I'm not gonna touch anything on my computer right now. So
Okay.
hopefully that'll help. Yeah. So work was busy for you. I heard that much, and you didn't really have much energy after each day. And I was pretty much the same way this week. Work was pretty busy. Not as crazy as last week, where I had to pull a really late shift. But it was I still had to pull a pretty late shift last night, actually. So yeah, work's been picking up for me for sure. Which is, it's kind of nice in a way, but I mean, it's not like I wasn't busy before. I've been busy during this whole pandemic, so yeah, it's a change of pace though for sure, which has been kind of nice, kind of not nice. But either way, I haven't had too much time to play video games this week. But that'll flow nicely into what have we been playing. So I played some more NHL 21 this week on stream on Monday. And on Wednesday we did finish Halo Reach live on stream. So that was good. We finished the campaign on that. We're moving on to Halo Combat Evolved next week, so I'm excited for that. Aside from that, I haven't really played any games. I've played a little bit of Genshin Impact this week, actually. Starting to get into that a little bit more. That's been a fun time. Yeah, what about you, man?
Pretty much the only things I've really been playing has been obviously COD. We played that on the weekend, Sunday morning, adult time for some reason. It feels like we're 60 years old. But
I felt like we were all like 40-year-old dads, like kids were, you know, out at soccer practice or something, or they were outside playing, and then we were all inside playing Call of Duty. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, all right, we got 2 hours to play before we have to do all of our errands and chores for the day. Like, it was really funny. I enjoyed it. I quite enjoyed it though. It was good. It was a good time.
I was gonna say it's nice. It's nice having like a time slot where we're not like doing a whole lot, and like just to be able to hop on and all that. Especially playing something like that where I don't know, like for some reason, like Warzone doesn't really feel as like relaxed, but
Yeah.
for some reason, Outbreak was kind of relaxing to play. I don't know, it was hectic, but it was kind of exciting too. But other than COD, man, like I played some like normal multiplayer for like Black Ops Cold War and all that. I ran some solo war zones. And then today I was playing the Master Chief Collection because this week they added the custom games browser, which is awesome.
Oh yeah.
So that the thing I find with Halo is like the normal multiplayer is great, but I mean we used to play a lot of custom games in high school and all that, and it's just cool being able to go back and like play some of the ones that like we used to play, and like obviously I'll branch out and play some more, but it's just fun being able to play those again. Because I don't think they ever really had it. Like Halo 5 had one, and it was all right, but
yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm more fond of like the other like the older Halo games, custom games. So that was pretty cool. I played a little bit more disco, not a whole lot, which I'm kind of disappointed with. I want to play a little bit more this week, but again, just every day I come home from work and I'm on like the busiest job on our crew right now, so it's been kind of running around with my head cut off all week. Played a bit of Fortnite. I was trying to catch up a little bit because we didn't play on Sunday. So I leveled up like 3 or 4 levels, I think. And
Nice.
yeah, I don't know. Is there anything else? I've been kind of contemplating what to play next, but I'll talk about that at the end of the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I was debating trying now because I don't know what the Xbox One version's like for the show, but like you know, Renee's into baseball and all that. I'm trying to get her to play more Xbox games because you know Lego Star Wars got delayed indefinitely, so like we don't really have anything we can play together.
Yeah.
And I was looking forward to that, but that might be something we could try because she likes baseball. And I mean, I used to like, even though I'm not like a sports games guy, I would play sports games with my dad and my brother growing up. So I mean, it's not like and this would be like a you know a newer one, well made. Not that the other ones weren't, but like you know more updated, well made versions, next gen, if you will, of these games. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I'd recommend the show. I've only played it a few times so far, and not having really played baseball games ever aside from the Super Mario. What was that called? All-Star Sluggers or something like that? It was on the GameCube.
Yeah.
Awesome game, by the way. But that was like the only baseball game I've ever played, so I'm still getting used to it. But I recommend it. That game can be as like realistic / like simulation as you want it to be, or you could turn it down and make it a little bit more arcade. So, whatever you guys would want to do with that. Also,
yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm gonna close a window. 1 second.
Oh God, no. This was our downfall last time.
Okay. I just closed something. So that should help. Say spaghetti. Say spaghetti.
Spaghetti.
Spaghetti. Okay, I think we're good.
Okay.
That only helped. Okay.
Oh God.
I realized I had Microsoft Edge open still, and I'm like, oh, maybe that's doing it. So I closed that up. Also, hi Dom and Fox in chat. How are you guys doing? Dom, the show is 12 out of 10. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I like it. I like it quite a bit.
Yeah, man. Follow my tracers is 12 out of 10. Thank you.
the show is 12. Yeah. That's damn. I should have just let you talk for that one. That was perfect.
No.
Shit. All right. Well, let's move on to the G Fuel non-sponsored flavor of the day. We should get like a little like intro for this too. I don't know what we could do. Maybe like just a big slurp sound or something. That'd be pretty funny.
Is there anything? Okay, just keep talking. I'm gonna see if I can find something on on the soundboard I have here.
Sure. I'll stall for time for a sound effect. So, yeah, for G Fuel today, I'm having some watermelon, 28 ounces of it. Looking forward to that. My tubs are getting pretty low. Or they're not getting pretty low. They're all about like half right now. They're all like around the same level. So I could definitely last for, you know, a good amount of time still, but definitely going to take them up on the next BOGO whenever that happens. But I hope it doesn't happen anytime in the next 2 to 4 weeks because I had a very expensive April. So I kind of want to save, or not save necessarily, so I already save, but I guess just cut back on the spending this month to kind of compensate for all the spending I had to do last month. Some of it necessary because I got a car, so I had to pay for that, and I had to get new tires, which cost a lot of money, and get those installed and do a bunch of stuff with that. First and last for car insurance, how all that goes. Words. But then some of it was unnecessary. Like I got my guitar, but that wasn't that expensive. That was a great deal. So, but either way, April was pretty expensive for me. So, hoping that the next BOGO is not in May, maybe in June. And if I remember correctly, trying to remember, Harley and I purchased G Fuel. Must have been end of July. Yeah, because I purchased it when I was still living in my other house, and I got it shipped to my parents' house, where I was moving to, because it was going to take 2 to 3 weeks to ship. So yeah, it was somewhere near the end of July where we got it, and I don't think there was a BOGO happening then, but there was one that happened shortly after that.
Yeah, because I didn't go for the BOGO because my first G Fuel order was August 16th.
Yeah.
So I bought it not too long after. What do you call it? You guys start getting yours and all that.
Yeah. So I think the BOGO's around there. Maybe there's another one before it. Maybe there's like I don't know, since it's an American company, July 4th special or something that we missed. Who knows?
Oh, maybe. I wouldn't get it.
But either way, we'll see what happens. Yeah, looking forward to getting new flavors at some point though. Dom in chat says G Fuel. Yeah, buddy, we love it. We love it here. It's good stuff. It is good stuff. I don't know about you, man, but I don't put the full scoop in anymore. Do you?
I usually do like exactly like if like I used to like when I would put it in, I would just do a scoop and I'd like shake it off, and then I would get like as close to like exactly a scoop as possible. Sometimes it'd be a little more, sometimes it'd be a little less, whatever. Yeah. But now I like try to get exactly one scoop, especially with flavors I'm low on. I'm trying to like preserve it, but yeah, I usually just do one scoop. Admittedly today I had snow cone. I'm still having it, but I had snow cone.
Oh, perfect.
But I put in 2 scoops and I had 28 ounces. So I was really tired. So
yeah, that's
again, I need to perk up a bit. It's working. Enough. So I don't know. The show makes me happy, man. I can't help it. But I found a sound effect we could use just temporarily right now.
Play it.
This has been okay. I don't know how loud this is going to be. This has been Fuel Up with G Fuel.
Wait, do that again.
I gotta turn the volume way up. Hold on.
Yeah.
This was what's the one? I have a Fuel Up with G Fuel.
Okay, I think that worked kind of.
Apparently that's an anime explosion. Gong might work better.
The gong could work. Yeah, the gong could work. We'll have to figure that out. Temporary. Yeah, that's good too. That's a good one. I like that. I like that a lot.
I didn't want to play it again. Whoops. I'm gonna try and add that to a different soundboard.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
I can. Okay.
Box in chat says I've just juiced so much citrus to make this sour mix. Oh yeah, you were gonna do something with vodka and citrus, right? That sounds good. Sounds good. All right. Where are we at the show? I don't have my notes open because I'm afraid to open them. I'm just going off of memory.
Now, I know we normally do Infinite Watch first, but I think we should save Infinite Watch for last.
Sure, yeah. If that's the big topic, I actually like that. Sure.
Yeah.
So let's
because we normally do Cyberwatch last.
Let's do it first.
I figure maybe.
Wake up, samurai. Time for this week's Cyberwatch.
Hell yeah.
So I actually found a lot more for Cyberwatch this week than I thought. So I got 4 stories. They're mostly quick mentions, but so the first one I wanted to pull up was on Forbes. According to, I don't know if it's rumors or opinions, or it was one of their earnings calls. Apparently, they're going to move away from bug fixes and focus a little more on adding new content. So they're splitting their team up to kind of divide them in between both of them instead of solely focusing on bug fixes, which I have another story about. So apparently, according to the recent earning calls, 40% of the Cyberpunk team is now working on fixes, while the other 60% is working on new content. So I don't know. I think that's the wrong move personally, because I know Cyberpunk's supposed to be this big overarching game that's going to last, years and years because with new content coming out. But I think they should focus just this year or the rest of this year trying to get the bugs fixed because I have a love-hate thing with having the game installed and not installed. I haven't uninstalled it since last week or the week before, but I'm debating jumping back in. But I don't want them to add new content, which in turn could add more bugs. I want
Yeah.
them to just focus on getting the game to what we kind of thought it was going to be instead of we said we're going to have DLC coming out. It's like that's fine, but you have to kind of like not I don't want to say re-win me over. I sound like an idiot saying that, but like when I bought the game I was pretty into it, and on PC I'll say and I got super into the story, and like for a good couple of weeks or a few weeks it's all I'd play. But now that they're starting to fix more and more bugs, and I want to go back to it, but I don't know. Like, what do you think? I think I'm babbling. What do you think?
Um. Yeah, it's interesting. I think for any studio, 40% just to fix bugs after post launch is still a pretty large number. I would imagine that for most games, even if they're kind of buggy at launch, it's maybe 20% at best. And that I'm pulling that number out of my ass, but this is kind of what I just feel like what happens. Where they'll go, okay, you guys are now working on fixing the bugs that are there. Everybody else is working on new content. Because ultimately, bug fixes don't make you money, even though I would argue they do. Because then hopefully people will buy your game because it's fixed. But I think ultimately new content will make you money, right? And how do you can't really have a Cyberpunk marketing cycle right now, right? And I think maybe that might have thrown a big wrench into their plans where after Cyberpunk came out, I bet they were going to do a big thing still for a number of months where it was still going to be advertised a lot and all of that. And you really haven't seen any of that because that would ultimately be a pretty bad mood, right? So I think the way to get back onto that marketing hype and that marketing cycle is to build new content, because then you can say, look at this new thing with Cyberpunk. And again, I think 40% is a big number, but I think in the context of Cyberpunk, it might not be big enough. I guess we'll just have to see, right? I mean, I haven't played it since the most recent patch anyways. So I don't know what it's like on Xbox Series X. I know the next gen version still needs to come out. I know PC version is running pretty well, all things considered, at this stage of the game. Still a lot of bugs, but it's certainly a playable game, and you can a lot of people would be justified in spending full price on it at this point on PC. Base Xbox One and PS4 maybe not so much, but maybe they just don't care about those versions anymore, right? And maybe they're just going, hey, well, we're gonna make new content, and those games we're gonna get them as far as we can, but ultimately, it sucks. And I think the way to get around that, I guess not get around it, but I guess a compromise, and they've already announced this, and that is that the next gen version is free, right? So hey, whenever you do upgrade, you have the next gen version. So there's that. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's I feel like every week there's something that happens with Cyberpunk, and we're back and forth on it, whether it's good or bad. So
I think that might be like a sign of I dare say sign of a good game, but at least sign of like a good marketing maybe, because again, when the game came out, it was a mess, but they kept pledging and they kept saying, we're going to work on fixing it. We're going to work on fixing it. Yeah. And before I jump to actually something that relates to that directly, it looks like there are recent leaks that point to June as a possible release for whatever new content they're working on, whether it's big or small. I mean, we'll see. And I hope it's not the multiplayer, because I don't, God bless them for, wanting to be ambitious. But in a game like Cyberpunk, I do not give two shits about a multiplayer mode. I just want a new IP. I love the setting. I love the whole aesthetic of the game, but I don't really care to play multiplayer for it. But regardless, you were talking about the Xbox One, like the older generation versions, maybe not getting as much attention. It's funny you should say that, because we got another update, the third in a month. We got hotfix 1.22, which is live as of the 28th. And, it's not a big update. There's not a whole lot of fixes. Usually when I go through these, it's like, hundreds of fixes. But this is just a quick little one. Most of it had to do with the quests in the open world. But for the console specific versions, there is one fix that's GPU and ESRAM optimizations and improvements on Xbox One. So I don't know if that means the base Xbox One or if
Yeah.
that's just Xbox One X or whatever in general. So it's the base Xbox
It'd be
One.
base Xbox One. Yeah.
So they did do a bit of improvements for the Xbox One version. Maybe stability or whatever, but yeah, like it's still getting attention. Just again, not nearly as much specific attention to the older ones because the other console specific one was just memory management for PlayStation 5. So I don't know. I even debate back and forth whether or not I should have just kept my Xbox One version because I don't know. It would have been interesting to see how that game got like improved and like what actually changes with that game from update to update. I'm not gonna, be stupid like I would be in the past and like, just rebuy the Xbox One version just to have that version because I mean the PC version's great, like comparatively speaking. So
Well, and you have a nice
yeah,
PC you can run it on, man. Definitely don't do that.
yeah.
You made the right choice given your circumstances. So,
But so the third thing I want to mention for Cyberwatch is the dev execs got big bonuses even though it had a troubled launch. So the CEO, again, I'm not going to pronounce their names, but the CEO and co-CEO of CD Projekt Red each will receive more than 6 million in bonuses, with the game's director, Adam, I'll say it, I don't want to go for the last name. You know what? It's not even like I think it's Badowski or Badowski. I just don't like butchering last names.
yeah,
but
for sure. Adam B.
Adam B is receiving more than 4 million. So nearly 30. It's all according to GameSpot. So, which is according to Bloomberg, according to them, going around way. But nearly 30 million in bonuses have been allotted for the company overall. However, because huge chunks of this were awards for executives, the average employee will get somewhere in the neighborhood of 5,000 to 9,000 in bonuses. So the mean total for bonuses among employees is 34,000, but this includes the outliers and executive roles and blah blah blah. So
yeah, raises that average.
Yeah. So one of the co-CEO said, "quote Our compensation was always directly tied to net earnings. That's the way the money the company earned. That's the way the money that I can't bad grammar. Higher net profit means higher bonuses. That's been the case historically.
Right.
Again, whatever. No new news really in that. Depends how the world works, I guess. But
sounds like it's by the books.
Yeah, like I'm not like a money expert. I'm not like a stock market guy. I'm not a Wall Street guy. But I don't know. It's just people might get mad that they get big bonuses despite what happened with the game. But I mean, the game still sold well, and they marketed it well enough because I mean, it sold like something like 8 million or 5 to 8 million copies in the first day alone, or the first 3 days, like something ridiculous. So
it made its money back on the first day. I remember that.
Yeah. So I mean, fine, whatever. If anyone has an opinion on that, that's more informed than me. I mean, by all means, tell me in the comments or live on the show. But the last thing I want to mention, which I guess it doesn't hit home more like per se, but it kind of brings it down to a more personal level. One of the designers, actually the lead quest designer, was on a Reddit stream and he was getting emotional about the game's reception. Essentially just talking about how you kind of reflected on the harsh, what do you call it, reception of the game. And essentially he just said that people can say that they want a more complete game, they want a game that works, but will never understand how hard it was to make the game because of how ambitious they were trying to be. This is a new IP. They made The Witcher, so it's obviously you got to live up to that kind of standard, especially when you're established like CD Projekt Red in that world.
Yep.
But yeah, I guess it just, I guess it just got to him, and on stream, it almost looked like, because I watched the video, it almost looked like he was kind of borderline going to cry about it. So, I mean, that kind of sucks. And again, he's right. We'll never really understand what exactly went on. Like, we have an idea just based on what we've heard and read, but like we'll never kind of truly understand what exactly they were trying to go for. And I mean, when you pour your life's work into something and then it might sell well, but like I would say overall the reception was mostly negative to the game. So like, and even the stuff that was positive, obviously the negative stuff's going to outweigh it because bad news sells, or whatever the saying is. So what do you think about this? Do you think that he's kind of right in saying that, or do you think it's just hearsay or whatever?
I think yeah, I mean, I guess what I'll say here is that there's a video that I watched a while ago that really sums up a lot of what I feel about the game. And that is I'll have to remember to link it after the show. It's on Inside Games, not Inside Gaming. That used to be a different thing. It's called on Inside Games. And two guys who, if anyone watches Funhouse or used to watch Funhouse, Bruce and Lawrence from Funhouse, made Inside Games recently, and they talked all about Cyberpunk. Both of them extremely hyped for it. Both of them played it on PC, and both of them responded just to the criticism and everything that happened post-launch. And I think this guy on Reddit, the lead quest designer or what have you, is totally right in saying that we'll never know what happened. Or actually, you know what? I'll take that back. I'll say that we'll never fully understand what happened, because I do think somewhere down the line we're gonna get a really interesting documentary about what the hell happened here.
Oh, I think so too.
Because it's one of the biggest things in video game history, like in terms of just like the hype, right? The hype and the release, right, was just so insane and on a completely different level than a lot of other games, right? And it's almost akin to what happened with Halo 2, except for the fact that Halo 2 was a complete game minus well, it wasn't, because a lot of the campaign actually got cut. That's a legendary story in itself. But I think we'll get something. I think we're gonna get some more insight at some point. But yeah, I think I do feel bad for the devs. I actually feel bad for CD Projekt Red overall. But ultimately, they were a victim of just pushing the game out when it wasn't ready. I do think that behind all of the bugs and behind everything else, there is a exceptional game there. I think Cyberpunk is exceptional. It's just it has too much working against me on my console, on my platform of choice, to want to play it at this stage of the game. It's almost like the game's fighting me to play it when I don't want that to happen, you know? So when the game's ready, when it has the next gen patch, I'm all in on Cyberpunk, man. I'm right there with you. I was really hyped for it. I've really enjoyed my time with it so far, but I just see all these improvements coming out, and I know that if I just wait longer, I'm going to have a better experience, so I don't want to spoil it for myself, you know, going through one time and then have to go through a second time. So that's kind of where I'm at. Fox in chat says my company is a percentage of total yearly earnings if a total goal is reached. Yeah, mine's similar, so we have like a global bonus, but we have to hit a certain number, and if we hit that certain number, then we get percentage of other number. It's kind of backwards, but also Woo Funhouse. Yeah, Funhouse used to be pretty legendary. They're still a good time in my opinion, but yeah, a lot of the original cast is left, so they've lost, I guess, their original identity, but their new identity is also pretty good. I think it's pretty underrated, but that's kind of neither here nor there. So I will end the babble there.
Yeah, I think in closing, you kind of hit the nail on the head. It's a game that I think has great potential. We're just not there yet, and it's a game I always want to play. To be, like, truth be told, I always kind of want to get back into it. And I know I talk about it a lot, man. But
I don't want to interrupt you, but I think it's there on PC, man. I think if you install it on PC, you'll be just fine.
Yeah, I don't know. Just there's still some like nothing's perfect. Like there's still some character load in. There's still bugs here and there, but like and some quest things like one thing I experienced the last time I played it was like an NPC will come on and then you'll just see like their image in a video call and they won't say anything and it'll be like a couple minutes and it's like, okay, like I don't know when this is gonna disappear. They're gonna start talking. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Like there's still stuff like that, but
so I'll follow up with this. Why is that acceptable for a game like Skyrim and not Cyberpunk?
Yeah, no guff.
Because Skyrim was exactly like that, man. Exactly, a freaking mess, but we didn't care. Like, why does Bethesda get the pass, but CD Projekt Red not get the pass?
Maybe it's because, Elder Scrolls, I guess they're 5 games deep at that point. And I guess if you want to really look at CD Projekt Red with this eye, they had The Witcher and they perfected The Witcher essentially. Yeah, I have all 3 installed right now, actually, with the intent to play it. But regardless, with Cyberpunk being a new IP, I guess maybe there's, there's high expectations and everything, which I understand. High expectations,
high expectations.
They drive a lot of my
Skyrim
expectations. Too. Yeah, and oh my god, dude, Skyrim was like. Anyway,
I'm just playing devil advocate here, right? I'm just saying, why do they get the pass and CD Projekt Red not get the pass? Not the exact same situation. I'd argue that Cyberpunk was in a worse state than Skyrim at launch, but kind of the same idea. Big open world, very ambitious, lots of hype. you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know if maybe that's just because we're in a different age now, and everything's so much more on Twitter and on the internet than it was when Skyrim came out, right? And not to say that the internet wasn't prevalent. It was 2008. Of course it was prevalent, but so much more nowadays than before, right? So
Yeah.
maybe that's it, right? Maybe we're just in a different time and everything is just under such a more powerful microscope than it used to be, so that mistakes are just amplified. I think maybe that's it, man.
Yeah, like I know back then, like when Fallout New Vegas came out, there were
Oh,
videos of
mess.
like
Oh,
right at the very beginning where the doctor's head spinning and getting bigger and smaller and shit as you're talking to him. And like that stuff's very funny. But I think nowadays, I think a lot of the negativity, instead of just coming from like YouTube videos, I think it comes from the press, and like a lot more people pay attention to the press, just in general, like
sure.
the average person, than going on YouTube.
Yeah.
So maybe that, I mean, Cyberpunk had a ton of YouTube videos too that kind of went against it. So maybe that doesn't help it either. And yes, Paper Fox, you're right. It's not a bug. It is a feature. That's kind of the Bethesda way. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Let's conclude. Actually, I gotta say it in the outro, but let's wrap it up right here.
Yeah.
That concludes this week's Cyberwatch. Move along, civilian.
I really like those intros and outros, man. You did such a good job.
Oh, thank you. I gotta do one thing with the intro because it cuts out in the middle. I gotta add like a gunshot or something. But yeah, so thank you.
Let's move on to some other news before we
Let's
get
move
into the big
on.
Halo news, I guess. So we got a bunch of smaller stories here before we get into the big topic this week, which is all Halo Infinite PC. But let's talk about some Halo anyways to start. We got more Halo news. So let's okay, well, this isn't necessarily Halo news, but it kind of went along with it. So yesterday, Xbox Wire, which is basically Xbox's blog, put out a post saying that they are increasing the revenue share for developers on the Windows Store and I guess Xbox for PC, the app there, by 18%. So the cut for developers is now, or I guess the cut for that Xbox would take, normally 30%, is now 12%, which matches the Epic Games Store. Which, if you remember, that was a big deal when they came and did that, where they said that developers would make more money on their platform. Xbox has now matched that on PC. So that's a pretty big deal. That was part of this post where they were talking about how they're serious about PC gaming, and this is one of the steps to doing that, and that is encouraging people to put out their games on their platform because there is a financial advantage to doing so. So now Steam remains as one of the few platforms left on PC that will charge 30% as a royalty to developers for every copy sold.
Huh.
So more pressure put on Steam. I don't think it's going to deter anyone from buying games on Steam still. Like I think if we talk to our friend, well, maybe not. It'll depend on what happens. But if we talk to Kevin, for example, I think he might get Halo Infinite on Steam. But either way, it's good for people who want to use the service, and hopefully they continue to improve it so that people want to use it more. I mean, I think the Epic Games launcher has come a long way, and it's a very good launcher now, in my opinion. So
Yeah, I like it a lot.
hopefully the Windows Store and Xbox's app and everything get a lot better. I don't think it's very good right now, but nonetheless, good news there. And along with this, actually, just talking about their commitment to PC, Halo kind of had a little piece of news here too, which feeds right into it, and that is that the Master Chief Collection on PC has had 10 million players play it.
That's awesome. I love that.
That's a big number. 10 million people have played MCC on PC, and the kicker is that, quote, the vast majority are brand new to the franchise. So let's let that sink in for a second. Vast majority, what does that mean? That means more than 50%. Much more than 50%. Let's be conservative. Let's say 70%. Easy numbers. 7 million people who have never played Halo before have played now. Which, according to them, again, following up on that, is that this is the most new people introduced to Halo since Halo 3. It's big, man.
I think that's so cool, man. That's
big.
awesome.
It's big. It's done very, very well on PC. They have a big audience here. It's growing. Clearly, there's a demand from PC players who have, maybe they never owned an Xbox 360, right? Or they only played it at friend's house or something like that. And now they can play Halo 3 and ultimately, get introduced to Halo and get hypes for Infinite. So this is, awesome news on Halos on the Halo front. this kind of makes me happy because I don't know. Halo is very special to both of us. If it's not, absurdly obvious by the way we talk about Halo on this show, but
Do we?
yeah, do we Infinite Watch? Yeah, exactly.
Just check the thumbnail.
Yeah, exactly. We love Halo
Wow.
here. We really do. It's special to us. So the more people that play it, in my opinion, the better. I think it's a really special franchise. And yeah, I mean, the more new people that play it, the better. So this was really encouraging to hear. I'm just using round numbers, right? Call it 7-ish million, whether it's 6.5 or 8.5 or whatever it ends up being. New people playing Halo on PC for the first time is awesome. So great news on that front. Any thoughts on that, Jim?
No, it's just cool when I think it's ultimately if you're gonna jump into the Halo franchise, I mean this is also I'm also talking about I guess it'd be 18 years ago now. My first exposure to Halo on my own anyway was the PC version of the first one. But if you're gonna jump into Halo, I don't think there's a better way you could do it than with MCC. Like for anybody listening, it's how much is MCC now?
So
Is
it depends because
price?
you can buy it in chunks, right? That's the thing. So each game is $10, and then or you can buy the whole bundle for I think 40 or something like that. So it's not even full price.
You can't go wrong with $40. I mean, I would recommend the $40 just because you got what? You got Halo Reach, CE, 2, 3, ODST, and 4.
Yep.
So if you do that individually, okay, my math's off.
I think
60,
ODST is only
whatever it
5, which is a weird number.
Okay,
Either
so-
way, I
so
think
fair
you
enough.
save a little bit of money if you just buy the whole thing. But
And not only
Yeah.
that, but okay, I'll even lump Halo 4 in this because it's for a different audience, I'd say. Still for the Halo fan, but kind of different for anyway. You can't really go wrong with the first 5 Halo games. And again, like you said, it's so special to us. Just part of it's, I guess, nostalgia, but for the most part, it's just Halo continues to be a strong force in the Xbox community and I guess PC community now that it's on Steam and everything. Just the fact that I kind of look at a game like MCC, for example, which is Master Chief Collection for people who don't know. It started off shaky, but in 2021, is that 7 years, 6-7 years after it came out?
Yep.
It's I would arguably call it the definitive experience for the Xbox One. If you're going to own one Xbox One game, I would I mean, it also came with mine, so it helps, but go for it. That'd be the one. And then, like I said before, you have everything you'd want collected together, even the Spartan Ops, even, I guess, through Halo Waypoint Grab, you got, the live action stuff. Now you got the custom games browser. It just continues to outshine a lot of other AAA games. I'll even argue COD. COD's had a strong, little bit with Season 3, but it ain't MCC. Gears of War is awesome and amazing. Don't get me wrong. It's the number 2 Xbox franchise experience, but I feel like I'm losing my point. I'm just saying I love MCC. and I think it's really heartwarming that there's so many new people to it because you're always going to have your core fan base, but the fact that they're getting consistently bigger numbers with new people is really good news.
Yeah, for sure. I think you put it, in a really good way there when you said, if you're going to own one game on Xbox One, it's MCC. And I would argue, obviously, with the new consoles as well, Series X and S. I think MCC is a tremendous value. $40, you get all these amazing games, all their campaigns, all of the multiplayer. You get Firefight, you get Spartan Ops, you get custom games, which we're watching right now on the screen, which are a great time. You got so much content. All the seasons are free. You don't have to put a dime into the game once you can't even put a dime into the game once you buy it. There's no microtransactions, right?
That's awesome. I love that.
It respects the Halo franchise, and you're right. It's such a turnaround story. When the game came out, it was in a bad state, a very bad state, and it wasn't working that well. And it was very disappointing as a Halo fan. But they've they proved that they can come back and they can fix things, and I think that right now it's probably the best multiplayer experience on Xbox, bar none. I think it's it. So yeah, I think that's a great way to put it, man. Good way to finish that story. I hope more people continue to check it out. That's partially why I'm playing it on stream. because of course I've played through the campaigns a million times. I know each one like the back of my hand, but you know, not only do I just like playing through them anyways, I usually play through them once a year, but I just want more people to experience it because it's special to me and it means a lot to me, and I know it'll mean a lot to other people who may have not tried it before. So, also just getting hyped for Halo Infinite. So there's that. But we'll save
absolutely.
we'll save the Halo Infinite talk for the end of the episode. Moving on to another piece of news. You had some quick news about the Resident Evil 8 demo, right?
So as of recording, it's April 3rd or April 30th. Yeah. So tomorrow, May 1st, is the big global release for the demo for Resident Evil Village on all consoles. Previously, there was some PlayStation exclusive demos that were coming out earlier in April, but tomorrow, I don't have specific times or anything like that, but tomorrow is the day to play the hour-long Resident Evil Village demo. And I'm jumping ahead towards the end of the show here when we do what we're excited to play. You can pre-download the demo now. I haven't done it, but you can pre-download the demos now for tomorrow, and I will for sure be trying it out because if it runs good enough on the Xbox One, I'll probably just buy it on the Xbox One because I'm really excited for it. As the game first got announced, I think I might have mentioned this last week. Like, obviously, I'm excited, but now that we're like, it comes out May 8th, which is like soon. A week from tomorrow.
Yeah,
that's like now that it's so close, it's like, oh my god, like I can't wait to actually play it now. So yeah, so tomorrow, be sure tonight you can, or today, whatever time zone you're in, you can pre-download it so you can play it tomorrow.
Very good,
exciting stuff.
Very good. And you had some more news about some deals on May the 4th, right?
So big Star Wars Day, May the 4th.
Of course, May the 4th be with you.
But and also with you. But no, that's like a church thing.
It is. That's the Catholic school coming out in us, man. And also with you. Anyways, continue.
Lift up our hearts, we lifted them up to the Lord. Anyway, listen. Funny how all this stuff you remember. There is a big. They're not waiting for May 4th for all these Star Wars deals. On pretty much like everything. The Epic Games launcher, the Nintendo eShop, Steam, PlayStation, Xbox, GOG, especially GOG. Oh my god! Like every single Star Wars game essentially ever made is on sale right now, and a lot of them are dirt cheap, which is awesome. On PC, I think it's through Steam. The Star Wars Complete Collection, normally $292. You essentially get every, I guess, up to a certain point, Star Wars PC game is on sale for $75.
Good deal.
Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2 are both $5 each on Xbox.
Oh, those are worth every penny.
And PC, I think all these deals kind of go the same for what do you call it?
Yeah, it's probably the same price every console. Man. Yeah.
But like Jedi Fallen Order's half off. The EA Triple Bundle on Xbox is half off, which gets you Squadrons, Battlefront 2, and Jedi Fallen Order. Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens Deluxe Edition is $6. It's not, the Skywalker Saga, which I'm hoping come the actual May 4th, we get some kind of like announcement, because they did say when they delayed it a couple weeks ago that or a few weeks ago now, they were gonna, have an announcement soon. So I'm kind of hoping it still comes up by the end of the year. But regardless, there's a ton of Star Wars deals on essentially whatever you're gaming on or whatever, game launcher on PC you're on. So yeah, go check out. There's a lot of good Star Wars games.
I think it's some Follow My Tracers merch. We need to get a shirt for you that says "But regardless."
But oh god,
you say that. Not that it's a bad thing, but you say it in almost every story. I know. And I think it's like a tagline now. So I love it.
That and well, there you go, or there you go. I say that a lot too.
Yeah, I say that too. And Harley's, did you like that?
Yeah. But regardless, yeah, that's it.
Hell yeah.
All right. God.
So as well, some news this week. We got two big games that came out. The first one I'm going to talk about is new Pokemon Snap. I haven't played it yet. I haven't watched anything about it yet because I kind of don't want to spoil myself on it. I'm going to get it at some point soon. But again, like I mentioned earlier in the show, I had a pretty expensive April, so I'm just going to hold off for a few weeks and be kind of, I don't know, a bit more responsible as you just, try not to spend all my money at once. Not that I couldn't afford it, but I don't know. I'm losing my point here. But 80 on Metacritic it's sitting at right now, which is very good. Game Informer gave it an 85, IGN an 8, GameSpot an 80, EGM gave it a 10, which is crazy.
Nice.
But most of the reviews are in the 8 to 8.5 range. A couple 7.5s in there too. But the overwhelming response here is that this is a pretty good game. It's good fun. It's a big improvement over the original, which is very, very old at this point. And yeah, it's just a fun time. So I'm really looking forward to it. Apparently, it puts the Switch through its paces in some moments where the game like chugs. And that's kind of because the Switch is, it's not the most powerful machine, and new Pokemon Snap actually does look really, really good. Like it's got some really cool graphics and visual effects, and the art style is a little bit more realistic than something like Sword and Shield. So, but aside from that, really, but regardless, one might say.
Hey, that's my line.
But yeah, it looks like it's a good game. So that's encouraging. Looking forward to playing it. I think you said Renee's got it, or she is getting it, right?
We tried to get a physical copy today, but like it is sold out everywhere.
No kidding.
So
Eh?
I don't know if she's gonna go digital. She's got a $20 like eShop gift card, so she might use that. But yeah, anyway, regardless.
I don't think you'll have a problem getting that game at some point, right? Like it's not like there's a big rush to get that game. It's not like the Super Mario 3D All-Stars collection or whatever that just came out, or not just came out. It came out in September, and now it's off store shelves and digitally. Like you can't get
it's
that
been
game
off
anymore.
for a month now. I can't believe it's been a month since that stuff got canceled.
Nintendo literally pulled the game off the shelves. Like it's crazy. And their digital store, they're turning away money. It's crazy.
That's crazy, man.
It's so crazy. But they're not going to do that with this game, right? So like I don't know. We're going to be able to find this game at some point. I wouldn't worry about that. But hey, that it's sold out. I mean, I kind of expected that. There's a lot of people that have nostalgia for that game, myself included.
Big time.
So looking forward to playing that. As well, a big PS5 exclusive is coming out very, very soon. I think it's either tomorrow, or it's today, or it's Tuesday. It's sometime around now, and that is Returnal. I don't know if you've seen anything about Returnal.
I've just seen some review scores for it, but I don't really know what it is.
Sure. So I got a little summary here because I figured a lot of people might not know what it is. It didn't have a ton of marketing behind it. Cough, cough, days gone, cough, cough. But Returnal transforms roguelike gameplay into a third-person shooter where players fight to survive a hostile planet that changes with every death. Players can switch instinctively between firing modes by using a single adaptive trigger and get right back into the action after dying. PS5's immersive 3D audio brings the alien world to life around the player, helping players navigate the intense positional combat. So, I don't know if you know too much about Hades, but basically the idea with this roguelike is that you do runs, right? So, each time you die, you lose all of your progress, and you start another run, and every run's different based on what you can pick up, and how you build your character, and the gear that you get, and the enemies you fight, and all of that. So, it's all dynamic and stuff. So, this is kind of in along the same way and how that works. It's sitting at an 86 on Metacritic, which is very, very good. Game Informer's given it a 95. GameSpot a 90, Easy Allies 85, IGN an 8, EGM an 8, Destructoid 75. So you can see a bit of a range there, but for the most part, they're high, they're 8s to high 8s to sometimes even 9s. So seems like it's a hit. It's gonna perform pretty well. Hopefully, it sounds like a really interesting game. Seen some gameplay for it. Does look cool. Yeah, I mean, if you have a PS5 and you're looking to play something, Returnal comes out very soon, and you might not have heard of it because there isn't much marketing behind it right now, fortunately. So, yeah, go check it out. Go check out some gameplay. You can look it up on YouTube. I think full video reviews are up now at this point, so you can check those out as well for some more detailed stuff. But looks like an interesting game nonetheless. And certainly has less hype behind it and less marketing behind it than the next game, which I'm about to talk about, which is Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. And I don't know if you've seen the recent gameplay from this, Jim.
I have not, no.
So Sony had a state of play yesterday? Yeah, they had it yesterday. And basically all they talked about was Ratchet and Clank and a few other things. They also announced Among Us was actually coming to PlayStation for that. But, yeah, they showed more Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, which is coming out in June. Developed by Insomniac, obviously developers behind Spider-Man, obviously Ratchet and Clank as well, Sunset Overdrive on the Xbox. Yeah, this thing, you gotta look it up, man. It's insane. It looks so good. The gameplay looks awesome. The graphics are, like absolutely next gen, like way, way beyond anything that you've seen. Like it's
Nice.
crazy. Like it's definitively a next gen game. And yeah, it looks really, really good, man. So again, if you have a PS5, go pick up Ratchet and Clank when it comes out. Certainly check out the gameplay for it because it's pretty impressive, man, and it makes me excited for what other games are going to come out. Not only for PlayStation, I don't own a PlayStation, but I still get excited about these things. But also for Xbox, because if the PlayStation can pump out graphics like that, the Xbox can too. It's more powerful. So of course it all depends on what developers do with it, and you can have a pretty looking game and it still not be good, but either way, it does make me excited about the potential for next gen, and that, in June, which is only 6-7 months after these consoles came out, we're getting something that looks as good as Ratchet and Clank. So, excited for that. I highly encourage you guys to go check it out. Looks really, really good. Let's talk about a delay. A delay in a game. The game is Fall Guys. Jim.
So as we talked about, I'm pretty sure at some point, however many episodes ago this was now, Fall Guys is going to be coming to Switch and Xbox, just not yet. So
Yeah.
it was originally going to come out this summer, and to quote the developer, it says, "We've realized that our previously announced summer 2021 Switch and Xbox release schedule is unfortunately just too soon for us to include all the tasty new features we're working on. While we want to launch on these platforms as quickly as possible, we believe the Switch and Xbox releases are really going to be worth waiting for, and we're super grateful for your patience. This delay gives our team some time to add features like crossplay, so when we add new platforms, players will be able to stumble in harmony with their pals regardless of platform of choice," which is awesome. Awesome news. The delay sucks, don't get me wrong, but awesome that they're going to be introducing crossplay.
Yeah, this needs to be the standard, man. We're at the point now. Call of Duty's doing it, and Call of Duty's the biggest game in the world. So everyone's got to do it, in my opinion. If you don't have crossplay and you have games on, every platform, you're losing yourself. You're losing your player base here. Like, if the way games make money nowadays is by being, having the biggest player base possible, and to do that, you gotta have crossplay. So
yeah, absolutely, man.
This is a good thing, especially for a game like Fall Guys. It just makes so much sense. So glad that they're adding it in. Take all the time you need, in my opinion. It's cool. I own the game on PC. I'll play it on PC when I want to play it. I've been meaning to play the new season. I do have it updated, but haven't played it yet.
Yeah, we should probably play that soon, eh? Wow, it's been a little bit since we played Fall Guys.
Yeah, it has been a while, but I think we're gonna play some stuff tomorrow, but we'll figure that out anyways. But, good news, bad news. But again, generally, game delays are bittersweet. Good that they're taking their time and they're adding this awesome necessary feature. Bad that it's going to be delayed. We'll see how long it takes. Hopefully this year still.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Agreed.
And let's talk about this rumor, which kind of popped up this morning, actually. It kind of came out of nowhere. And that is that the Hitman developers, IO Interactive, are working with Xbox on an exclusive fantasy game featuring dragons. I'm going to say that again. Hitman developers, IO Interactive, are working on an Xbox exclusive fantasy game featuring dragons.
They go from Hitman to Bond to dragons. It's
like they were in their lane with Hitman and James Bond, and apparently they're working on this dragon thing with Xbox. Kind of crazy. This is reported by Windows Central, and it has been confirmed by a number of industry insiders, people like Jeff Grubb and the like, who they're notable. They know what they're talking about. Apparently, this is a brand new fantasy game. Involves dragons in some capacity. That's all they kind of know. Your Gamer kind of followed up. They added that the game is definitely AAA. They're working with Xbox on it, so it sounds like it's some kind of exclusive deal. But it is years away from release. So this sounds like it's an early in development kind of game. So I'm definitely interested. This is a top tier developer in my opinion. Maybe we'll see a teaser at E3. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe even just like a concept art teaser or like an announcement teaser.
Could just be a cinematic thing, Who knows? Yeah. We'll see. But this does give me PTSD about another Xbox game that involved dragons that was eventually canceled. Scalebound. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. I wanted that game to come out so badly.
Yes, Paper Fox. Dragons. The people
You heard
who
it
made
right.
Hitman are making a game with dragons. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. But yeah, Scalebound, infamous in terms of its reveal, and that and then cancellation. Of course, that was being made by Platinum Games and exclusive deal with Xbox. The game died. Xbox shut it down. They said, "Sorry, we don't want to do this anymore. The game isn't going where we want it to go, and we don't want to put out a bad product." Basically, apparently that game is alive somewhere. We'll see if it ever comes out. But yeah, I mean, I hope this game comes out. That's all. I just hope it. Well, we don't really know anything about it, so I guess what I hope is that we find out something about it, and maybe this year at E3 we get a little teaser. Sounds like it's at least a few years away, so it's not like something we're going to be playing anytime soon. Moving on. This is a bit of an interesting story. So the Crash Bandicoot developers from Activision, the studio's name is Toys for Bob. If you didn't know. Which is a great studio name in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
They are now a support studio for Warzone. They have been moved off of Crash Bandicoot onto Warzone. And apparently, along with this move, layoffs happened. So, pretty negative, in my opinion, as just a first kind of take, right? We do have a quote here from Activision, which states that there has not been a reduction in personnel recently at the studio, and the development team is operating fully and has a number of full-time job openings at this time. The studio is excited to continue supporting Crash Bandicoot for It's About Time, and more recently, provide additional development support to Call of Duty Warzone. That statement is despite multiple employees on Twitter and Reddit stating that they have been let go. So, kind of sounds like some mixed messaging here. I think Activision's trying to cover their trail. It sounds like Toys for Bob is being moved off of Crash Bandicoot. Well, they are, and they are just becoming support for Call of Duty. And to, I guess to put everything into perspective here, this now means that Call of Duty has the following studios all working on them, which is Infinity Ward, Treyarch, Raven Software, Sledgehammer Games, Beanox, High Moon Studios, Toys for Bob, Activision Shanghai, and Demonware. How many studios is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Holy
6,
moly.
7, 8. They have 9 studios working on Call of Duty.
Damn. Like, no wonder it's such a mess.
Right? That's what I'm thinking.
Ugh.
Like, no wonder Call of Duty can't get their shit straight recently, and that's just because there's too many cooks in the kitchen, guys. I could tell you this right now. Make the teams bigger. Don't bring in other studios who are good at what they do at making other things. You know? If you need more support, hire more people at Raven. Hire more people at Treyarch. I don't know. I feel like I'm speaking for the developers here, and who knows, maybe some of them are happy that this is happening, but I assume that, going from Crash Bandicoot to Call of Duty Warzone that's not a horizontal move, That's not okay, we're just going over here now. Like that's a complete change in game,
Yeah, it's not like they went from so we're moving you from Crash to developing new Spyro games. Like,
yeah,
this is like
they also
totally
made Spyro,
different.
by the way. They also made Spyro,
Yeah.
those recent games. So there's that. But yeah, too many cooks in the kitchen, in my opinion, and not necessarily number of bodies. It's just the number of studios. I think there might be a bit of an issue going on here at Activision, where Warzone is proving to be much more than they thought they could handle, which I think makes sense based on what's happening with Warzone, or what has happened with Warzone. I think Season 3 is pretty great, but all the issues with cheaters and all the bugs that always happen, and how guns are always broken and they have to patch them, but then more guns get broken. And, it's just kind of a mess. So I feel like they bit off a little bit more than they could chew. And they're Activision, so they can chew as much as they want. They just need to invest. And I think rather than investing, they're just choosing to move resources from one spot to another.
I think the problem here in my head kind of lies in like Crash 4 wasn't like poorly received or anything.
Oh no, dude, it was super highly received, man. Like, it got really good scores and everyone loved it.
I'm wondering if maybe they do they base it on sales numbers or something, because if Crash wasn't like a disappointing game and it sold well and it was reviewed well, wouldn't you want to kind of make more Crash games, or would you want to make more games along that line with that studio instead of moving them to be a support studio for this mammoth that's Warzone and Call of Duty in general now? I don't know.
Yeah,
I have a weird feeling in my gut from this story, to be honest.
Yeah, I do too. It doesn't feel right. Again, maybe some of the developers are okay with this. I don't want to speak for them, right?
Yeah.
We're not in their shoes, but it definitely sounds like it's a bit of a weird move. From what I understand, by the way, Crash 4 sold just fine. I don't know if it sold millions and millions of copies, but I don't think it sold poorly by any stretch. In fact, I remember seeing a story about it selling very well. And we might have actually talked about it on a like a December episode of Follow My Tracers or something. We'd have to go back and listen to it, but
Yeah.
either way, I think this kind of sucks. So I hope that the developers that were let go land on their feet, and I hope that the developers that are still at Toys for Bob either find passion and like what they do working with Warzone, or they leave and find something else, because I think that Crash 4 is a game I definitely wanted to try out and play, and it was certainly received and reviewed very, very well. So there's some talented people there that are now just a support studio for Call of Duty, and that is that's unfortunate. I'd rather see a news story about Treyarch now hiring 200 more employees than this.
Yeah.
You know,
Or like, you know, if you're gonna, and this is probably the wrong move to make too. It's kind of along the same lines of what you were saying with hire more employees. But if you're gonna have, you know, 8, 9, 10, 11,000 studios, if most of them are just moving to support, like let's say there's some that are just support, why not like merge studios instead of
Yeah.
keeping the studios separate?
Yeah, totally.
It's kind of the
Definitely.
same thing as hire more employees, but I mean, then you might have like closures of studios too, and I don't want that. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think
Weird
what
thing
you
to
run
think about.
into there is that, like, obviously each studio has its own physical location and the employees are located in certain spots, right?
Yeah.
So there's that. But you know, it is kind of the same thing as hiring, but it's not, because you're not actually, you know, you're not adding to the payroll. You're just moving bodies from one spot to another.
Yeah.
So Activision isn't spending any money by doing this. They're not investing more into Warzone. They're just investing less in Crash Bandicoot. Right? They're basically taking the same pie and they're just cutting it up differently. So, and this does come on the heels of some news. I didn't have this in the notes here, but I did want to talk about it in this story, and that is that the CEO Bobby Kotick, or whatever his last name was, I know we talked about him a few episodes ago, and his massive bonus, his $200 million bonus. I'm really glad I didn't stutter there and say something else. And that he's taking a pretty big pay cut, and he is, you know, he's still making an absurd amount of money, but he is taking a sizable pay cut, and his bonus is, he is like not claiming that bonus, from what I understand now, which is good, because
Oh, interesting.
it's a good thing. But mind you, this man is still making millions of dollars, you know. So I don't feel that bad for the guy. But I mean, I
He's
guess
only slightly less rich.
exactly. I mean, in fact, he's probably more rich than he is now still, but
Yeah, no
or than he
doubt.
was a week ago. But still, I mean, you know, I don't know if he maybe took less to, I don't know, maybe as PR, you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Like, you know, oh look, I'm taking less money, but look, we're firing employees. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's I don't know what's really going on there. It sucks. I think Warzone needs all the help it can get. This is not the way to do it. So, hoping that, you know, they continue to invest in Warzone, and I hope that the people that, that are still at Toys for Bob like what they do, or they leave and find more meaningful work, and the people that were let go find meaningful work, land on their feet. And I hope that what I mean by they continue to invest in Warzone, I mean brand new, net new hires. Like, actually invest, don't just move studios around. So that's where I'm at with that story. And that's kind of a negative one, so I wanted to put that near the end, before we
Yeah.
get into all the awesome Halo Infinite stuff. But we have a nice little news story here, and that's that Titanfall 2 is free to play this weekend, right?
Yep. So if you have Steam, you can play it for free until May 3rd. I
Hell
guess
yeah.
you know, I guess lately Titanfall 2, I don't know if it was on sale or something recently, but there was a recent resurgence in popularity for Titanfall 2. It hit new, this is according to GameSpot, or sorry, IGN, forgive me. Hit new player count highs on Steam. So they
Yeah.
decided to make it free to play just for this weekend. Not totally, but a yeah. So it's free to play till May 3rd at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And I would definitely recommend Titanfall 2. We don't play it nearly enough.
Oh, it's an
But I
awesome
will
game, man.
say, yeah, I mean, I haven't played the campaign yet, and I know you guys,
Oh,
like you and Kevin, have raved about it, but
it's so good.
uh,
And it's like 3
but I mean,
hours. Like,
Yeah,
it's
like
the best
the
3 hours
gameplay
of your
though.
life, man.
The gameplay alone, I don't know. It's not the Last Jedi, but regardless, that's my God. I do say regardless. Anyway, you know what? Now that you pointed it out, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna say it every
No,
time.
I don't care that you say it, man. I wasn't trying to point out, be like, you need to stop saying
No,
but
no.
regardless. I just think it's funny. That's all.
But yeah. So I guess just 2 days earlier this week, according to this report, the Steam player base went up 650%, which
Yeah.
is awesome. So it went up from 1,940 players to 6,815 players over the last 30 days, which is cool.
And they're claiming that the recent spike for popularity for this, because I read about this too, is that the new season in Apex Legends does involve Titanfall 2 storylines and characters.
Oh, interesting.
So it
Okay, I
connects
didn't know
that way because it is in the same universe. Titanfall and Apex
Yeah.
Legends are the same universe. They've said that before. So yeah, there's some Titanfall 2 stuff happening in Apex Legends, and that has obviously Apex Legends is a massive game. They announced a month ago over 100 million players. You know, so like there's a lot of people playing Apex Legends. It's free to play, a lot of exposure. Yeah, and they introduced Titanfall 2 into it, and now people are checking out Titanfall 2, and that's amazing because that game did not get nearly as much exposure and sales, in my opinion, as it should have when it came out. Like I said, I rave about the campaign. It's an amazing 3-hour campaign. It proved to me that, and I think to a lot of people, that, you know, campaigns don't have to be long to be good. Like, in my opinion, it's one of the best first-person shooter campaigns I've ever played. And it's 3 hours. You know? It's because there's no bullshit. There's no, you know, there's no filler. You know what I mean? Like, it's just all... It's all awesome. It's all awesome. It's a great ride. 3 hours. So I recommend everybody, if you can run Titanfall 2 on Steam, if you can run it, play it this weekend. It only takes 3 hours to beat the campaign. Now it might take longer if you put it on a higher difficulty, but if you have it on normal or even the second hardest, about 3 to 4 hours. So won't take you long. You can beat it in an afternoon, and it's absolutely 100% worth your time.
I think I wouldn't mind playing more too. That and Apex actually, because you mentioned Apex. Just because Apex it's really taken up a lot more than I thought it took off when we had talked about earlier how it hit 100 million players or whatever. I was like, oh, or whatever it was, like, holy shit, dude, that's like that's Call of Duty numbers, right?
It is.
There.
Well, I mean, it is Call of Duty numbers. Call of Duty literally announced the other week that they hit 100 million players. Now, mind you, they hit it in less time than Apex, but
true, yeah. But yeah, it was like the day before or 2 days before Season 3 started, they announced that Warzone had 100 million. So yeah, cool.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, both are big, but yeah, good news for people. Go check out Titanfall 2 if you're interested. If you like first-person shooters, I'll say check it out. Because obviously it is a first-person shooter, so if you're not really into those kind of games, I don't know, you might not like it. But if you like shooters, you're gonna love it. That's all I'll say about that. Some more good news. And that is that Xbox had its best January to March quarter ever.
That's awesome. I read about this too.
Yeah, so they are up 50% year over year on overall revenue. Hardware is up 232% thanks to the new consoles. Software and Game Pass rose 34%. Game Pass is now at it's at 23 million subscribers now, so it's added another 3 million in 3 months.
Amazing, man.
And also included in this, important to note, is that everything ZeniMax in that deal, so Bethesda Game Studios and id Software and all those companies, that all the game studios that Xbox purchased as part of that ZeniMax deal are now included in these financials. More importantly, just the last 3 weeks, because the deal went through like March, like beginning of March, and this quarter goes through to the end of March. But everything that those games would have made, I think Skyrim, which continues to sell a lot, Fallout 76, all those microtransactions, Elder Scrolls Online, all that stuff. So that's all Xbox money now, right? So that's actually included in this. So good news for Xbox. This is their best January to March ever. It's not their best quarter ever. That was actually last quarter with the Series X and S launch. That was their best quarter ever, but this is their best quarter in this period ever, if that makes sense. So this is their best January to March they've ever had. So, yeah, Xbox continues to do really well. Game Pass continues to add millions of subscribers and add value. Yeah, and this is just good news. I mean, obviously these are companies. I don't really want to champion a company that makes trillions of dollars in Microsoft, because ultimately, all they want is our money. But they are making consumer-friendly decisions.
Yeah. That's
right?
one way to put it.
Well, exactly, right? We shouldn't be fanboying like Microsoft because ultimately they just want our money. But I mean, in the end, they are just, they're making consumer-friendly decisions, and I think it's important to support companies that make consumer-friendly decisions compared to those that don't. Also, Halo. That's the end of my story there. Also, Halo. I have one more story here, and then you have one more story here, and then we have Infinite Watch. So,
Ooh.
and this one's really, really short, but I thought it was hilarious. This is the most Nintendo thing I've ever seen in my life, okay? Nintendo has added online multiplayer to Super Mario Party on the Switch. Now, it doesn't sound
Really?
that... Yeah. They did... Okay, now this is the crazy part. It didn't have it at launch, which is really weird. And also, that game came out in 2018. And it's 2021, and they just added online multiplayer 3 years later. It's like, what?
Wow.
What? Have you been working on it for 3 years? Is this just something you're like, oh, we should add this? Like, what's going on? Like, I had a good laugh. Good thing that it's on it, because how was it not on it to start? But
Yeah, come on, Nintendo. Come on.
I thought it was just hilarious. I'm like, wow, that's the weirdest news story I saw all week. Like, it's baffling, right? It's hard to really put into words. Like, okay, this game came out 3 years ago, and you just added multiplayer to it. But here we are in 2021. But now, if you have that game, you can play online with your friends, which is good. And in the last story, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is getting a proper next-gen version, right?
Yep. In the summertime,
Hell yeah.
Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order will receive a free next-gen upgrade for PS5 and Xbox Series X. And the nice thing, too, as part of the announcement, the game is on sale with a 70% discount for the standard and deluxe versions for PS4, Xbox One, Origin, and Steam.
There you go.
So if you're gonna plan on getting Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which I would recommend, like right now is pretty much the time to do it because of the heavy discount. So
Yeah, big time. And also, it's
for it.
part of Game Pass if you have Game Pass. So there's that. You don't have to worry about it.
There you go.
Awesome news. They did release a next-gen kind of like half patch a couple weeks ago. Not a couple weeks. I guess it was a couple months ago now. And I remember playing it. And what they did was they bumped the frame rate on the Xbox Series X and the PS5. Which is nice because before, to get 60 frames on the Xbox One X, you had to sacrifice resolution. On the Xbox One, you couldn't even choose that mode. You were just locked at 30 frames per second. But now on the Series X, you can switch it to 60, but you don't sacrifice resolution even. It's great. But now with this next gen patch, this is going to be even better because now it's not only going to have a proper frame rate, but all the assets are going to be updated. So everything is going to look really, really crispy, I bet. And I haven't beaten this game yet, so I think it's going to be a good time for me to jump back into it. So looking forward to that next gen patch. And I think that is all the news we have for this week, which means it's time for the big one. But before we get into that, I realized that we missed the reader response at the beginning of the show.
Oh, that's right. Oh no.
So
okay.
we have a question from a Jim F.
Okay, that's
it's not you. No.
It's not. It's not this Jim F. It's a different Jim F.
Jim F. Exactly, different Jim F. But Jim F. asks, what is the benefit to owning both Pokemon games in a generation? For example, Sword and Shield. And I think that's a great question.
Because you talked about it, and I actually, because Renee, I don't think has ever owned both unless like I bought the same one. But and for people listening, yes, I'm an idiot for having our own reader response.
That's not you. We already established that.
One.
We already established that. It's not you.
Allegedly, it's me, but it's not me. Allegedly, I was curious because I don't really know.
Allegedly.
Yes,
of course.
I'm such an idiot. Fuck.
Allegedly. Anyways.
Okay. Anyway, thank you for your question, Jim F.
But regardless. So I guess to say what's the benefit, you got to take it back a little bit. So let's take it back to Red and Blue, Gold and Silver, Diamond and Pearl, Ruby and Sapphire. I did those out of order. Ruby and Sapphire, Diamond and Pearl, Black and White, X and Y, Sun and Moon, and now Sword and Shield, right? Those are all the generations. Traditionally, and I guess to this day still, the reason why two games exist is to make money. And how they do that is that they lock Pokemon exclusively to different games, right? So, for example, an easy way to think about this is that in Pokemon Gold, on the box, you have Ho-Oh, and on Silver, on the box, you have Lugia, and those are the two of the legendaries in those games. Those legendaries are locked to each respective version, so you can't get Ho-Oh in Silver, you can't get Lugia in Gold, along with a host of other Pokemon. Usually a handful, 20 to 30, are locked behind a game. So you can find them in the wild in one, not in the wild in the other. So the advantage to owning two is that, well, then you can catch them all. And that's why they did it. So you can catch them all, right? That's the only reason why they did it. And for Nintendo, they know this, that most people, the vast majority of people, are only going to buy one copy. But they know that the hardcore Pokemon fans are going to buy both. So that's basically why they do it. Now, the value of this has actually gone way down in recent years, especially with Sword and Shield, because of how online these games are. You absolutely no longer require both games, or even have to have a friend that owns the second game, like the other version that you might not have, to get all the Pokemon, because you can just go online and initiate a trade and find what you don't have. So it's actually, to this right now, there actually is no real good reason to own both. Because you can find what you need, except with the exception of maybe the legendaries, because not many people are trading those. So that's basically why it exists. Now, why I have both copies of the game is because I'm an idiot. That's basically the reason.
No, not you.
Yeah, that's basically why. So Shield is my main version. I used Pokemon Sword as basically my side game, and my speed run game when I sped run Pokemon Sword, which I want to get back into at some point. But that's basically what I used it for. There's no reason to buy both nowadays unless you are a hardcore fan, but even then, it exists to make money, and that's generally why. That answers
Good question, Jim F. I'm glad Jim F asked that. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad
Allegedly,
to.
Thank you.
Keep asking questions, everyone in chat. You can leave random questions in the VODs, and we will get back to you on the next episode like we did this week. Also, you can just ask us questions or respond to what we're saying in the live chat right now as we speak. You can ask us anything related or unrelated to what we're talking about. Renee and Chaz says, I don't think I've owned 2 copies of Pokemon since Gold and Silver. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason to do it, because, I mean, usually you had a friend that had the other version, or you'd plan with your friend. Like, I remember back in the day, Jesse Philippek would get one, I'd get the other, or whatever, right? And then we would just trade what we needed. But yeah, there's really no reason to do it. And especially with some versions of the game, sometimes they'll release like a half upgrade to them, I guess is the best way to say it. So, you'd have red and blue, and then like yellow. You would have yellow, which is kind of like the superior version of those games where you can kind of get way more Pokemon. There are still some that are locked, but you can get way more. There's usually additional content. Crystal's the same, Emerald's the same, Platinum's the same, Black 2, White 2 are the same. X and Y never got one of those. Sun and Moon got Ultra Sun and Moon. And Sword and Shield have not got an extra one either yet, but they did get the expansion passes, which have kind of replaced those, in my opinion. It is really just a waste of money, though. You're right. It totally is. There's no reason to have both, which is why I said I'm an idiot. I probably won't be doing that again, to be frank. But I'm not Frank, I'm Tony. And let's move on to Infinite Watch for this week. And we got a big one. Roll the clip, me.
Status report.
So, Jim, are you here?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay.
I haven't gone anywhere.
Just making sure. So we got a big Inside Infinite for April yesterday, and this is focused all on the PC version of the game. So it was really nice to read through. It's way more in depth than what I'm about to go into. So for anyone who's thinking about getting Halo Infinite on PC, I'm thinking of our friend Kevin or even Harley, who's not on the show today. It's a really good read. They go all into the details of what's going on with the PC version. So definitely a good read. There's also some nice screenshots on there. Some new screenshots at that. But at a high level, let's talk about everything that they went over. So, to start, and this wasn't even announced in the Inside Infinite blog post. This was announced alongside the Microsoft Store 12% cut thing and all that stuff. And that is that Halo Infinite will support multiplayer crossplay and cross progression, which is something I thought was already announced, but apparently it wasn't. But now it is. So there you go. So this is great news. This means that if you own the game on Steam, if you own it on Xbox, if you have it on Xbox or PC, if you play it on Game Pass, wherever you buy Halo Infinite, wherever you play Halo Infinite, it's cross progression and it's cross play. So you're gonna have no worries in playing it with your friends or playing it on any platform really, aside from PlayStation or Nintendo, I guess. But yeah, this all connects. It's great news. As well, the game is built natively from the PC. It's not a port, which is important. They emphasize that it is not a port. It has been built from the ground up for PC, which is great. And along that come with plenty of features. And they also mentioned that there are plenty of learnings from launching Halo 4, Halo 5, and more specifically launching MCC on PC in recent years, and just everything they went through with the launches of all those games. And bringing MCC to PC and everything they've done with that, they've learned a ton. And they said that they've kept close eyes on all of that, and they are implementing a lot of what they've learned into this, which is good news. They announced that they have ultra wide and super ultra wide support. So ultra wide is a 21:9 monitor, and super ultra wide is a 32:9 monitor, which are just massive, really wide monitors that you can buy. So it's really cool that they support those. It also supports triple keybinds, and for those who don't know what those are, keybinds are basically, for example, in a game, you program Control A to do something specific. You can now control 3 buttons to do something specific. You can have Control Shift A or Control Alt A, whatever you want it to be, and you can make that do something specific too. So that's kind of a feature that some games support, some games don't. It's nice that they have that option for people who want the triple keybinds. That's a very PC thing, you know what I mean? So that's good that they have that. Mm-hmm. They have FOV sliders, which is great. Obviously, that's kind of standard nowadays in a lot of games. And they did actually announce alongside this that the console versions will also have FOV sliders. So that's good. They have advanced graphic settings, dynamic resolution toggles, resolution scale, everything that you come to think about when you talk about a PC game in terms of settings. I'm going to list some of them off here. It's all here. Anti-aliasing, texture filtering, texture quality, geometry quality, reflections, depth of field, shadow quality, dynamic lighting. You can have an FPS and ping overlay. You can actually hide the entire HUD if you want to do that.
That's awesome.
So there's a lot of cool things here. Yeah, it's very, very detailed in terms of what you can toggle with all these settings. So again, this is not just a straight port. This is built from the ground up for PC. As well, something that's great is that you are able to join friends through Xbox Live. You can join them through Steam, through Discord even. Or Xbox on PC. So it's going to be really seamless and easy to hop into games with friends, no matter what they're using as their party chat system or whatever platform they're playing on, which is fantastic. Really good news there. In terms of the competitive playlists, and I think this is a bit of an interesting talking point, and why I wish Harley might have been on the show, because I think he would have had a really good insight on this, is that competitive playlists are going to be restricted based on input type. So that doesn't mean console versus PC, that means controller versus keyboard. So if you have a controller and you're playing on PC, you're going to be matched with other controller players. And if you have a mouse and keyboard and you're on Xbox, because you can do that, you'll be matched with other mouse and keyboard players on competitive playlists specifically. So I don't think it's going to impact social or campaign or anything like that. But in the ranked competitive scene, they're going to limit it based on input type, which I imagine is a learning that they've seen from MCC, and that there's probably a bit of an unfair advantage with aim assist on the controller, or the precision of having a sniper on PC and be able to point and click exactly where you want it, right? So that's I imagine that's a learning from there. I wonder if that's going to be received well or not. That's something that I would love to have Harley's perspective on, and frankly, everyone else's too. So when Harley's back on the show, we'll have to remember to ask him. There is a robust anti-cheat being developed as well, which was great news to hear. It does not involve kernel drivers or background services, so it doesn't slow down your computer. It does not get in the way of anything. It doesn't root your machine. It doesn't block legitimate applications, which is great to hear. And specifically, what it does is it catches cheaters through behaviors in-game rather than programs running. So rather than them having to program an anti-cheat around programs that may or may not exist today, they're looking at more how the player plays. So if they're noticing somebody has 100% accuracy, for example, well, maybe that's it. Maybe they're cheating, or maybe they're in certain behaviors, maybe they're doing, very, very specific jumps perfectly every single time. They're never dying. Maybe their anti-cheat system will kind of flag that for review, right? So I think that's an interesting way to look at things, because I think it'd be very difficult, and clearly Warzone has shown that with all the cheaters in there, to just block applications, because it feels like they could just make a new one, right? They could always just make a new cheating system, and then you have to reprogram your anti-cheat around that. But if they're just looking at behaviors, I mean, ultimately your behavior is going to be the same if you're cheating, in that you're going to be playing out of your goddamn mind 24/7, which nobody does. Nobody does that. Even the pro players don't play out of their mind. They miss shots too, right? So I think that's a good way to look at things. As well, they mentioned that flighting, which aka the beta, is coming very, very soon. They did not have a date, but they did mention that they are opening up playing Halo Infinite to other people at Microsoft, not just 343. So they're getting presumably other studios and just other people at Xbox to play the game, which is good. So they're kind of opening it up to their internal ring, I guess, if you want to call it at this point. So I imagine that the Halo Insider crew is going to be getting access very, very soon, which lines up with those emails what I was talking about the last 2 weeks. So good news there. Also hidden in one of the screenshots, the Brute Chopper. The Brute Chopper is back.
I did not see that when I was looking at the screenshots.
Yeah, it's in the one where they're looking at the ring and you kind of have a top-down view. If you scroll down at the valley and you zoom in, there's a little Brute Chopper there. It's clear as day. So
okay, I have to look right now.
Yeah, Brute Choppers are confirmed, which is awesome. Choppers, one of my favorite vehicles from Halo 3. Also, they're in Halo Wars 2, so that makes sense that the Banished have them. But yeah, they're basically just brute motorcycles, but they're big and nasty. I think you've actually seen you use it in the gameplay here actually a little bit too. So there's that. You might have seen it on screen.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna get through a couple more pieces of news, get your thoughts on some stuff, and then I'm gonna close it out with a quote. So, as well, private servers can be ran locally from your computer with this game, which is really, really cool. So you can set up private LAN servers using your own internet connection within the game and have friends join, or set up local tournaments with your own computer, and it totally works, which is just a really neat application. Apparently there's a lot of cool applications to use within that. They're finding that, they think it's going to be kind of a nice little feature for it. So I'm interested to see what that kind of turns into. Within this blog post, they mentioned that the first Halo Championship Series event for Halo Infinite is booked for later this year. They have a venue. They don't have a date and time, but they have a venue, which is really, really cool. So Pro Halo is coming back, which is awesome. And the last thing I wanted to mention before I get into the quote and before we talk about more of this is, and I guess this is a good launching off point for this discussion as well with us, that is that on the Halo tweet, just kind of about this blog post, big streamer Nick Merckx, who we've talked about before on the show, as well as Courage, both replied to this, and Nick Merckx replied, quote, "Battle Royale when?" And then Courage JD replied to it with, "W. We are waiting. Save us." So clearly, I mean, you look at these two guys. Courage is one of the biggest streamers on YouTube, and Nick Merckx is absolutely one of the biggest streamers, certainly the biggest Warzone streamer on Twitch. These guys are pulling in. Courage is pulling in, tens of thousands. Nick Merckx is pulling in also tens of thousands, but usually in the 60 to 70 to 80K range. And even during the Warzone event that just recently happened, he pulled in 300,000 viewers. Like, he pulls in a big audience. So, I mean, if these guys want to play Halo and they really want a battle royale, or they want some kind of big mode, right? Clearly there's a lot of big demand here. And a lot of these guys, even Nick Merckx, you see him play it sometimes. You see him play Halo MCC sometimes with the boys, and it's kind of like a throwback to them. And that's because these guys, a lot of these big streamers, man, they grew up playing Halo just like us, Yeah. So, Halo was, for people who never played it before or maybe didn't play it as much, Halo was the biggest game on the planet at one point. Halo 3 especially, right? It was the thing. It was the shit. So, a lot of these guys got their start with Halo, so they really wanted to be king again. And they're just waiting for Infinite to announce some kind of big mode, whether that's a battle royale. They definitely all want a battle royale, but I think that if they announce something that's, just as engaging and something that they could play on stream and make content for, they'll be just as happy. So I guess that begs the question. I guess it's a two-parter, man. One, what do you think about all the PC features I just announced and all the PC talk that they talked about here? And two, what do you think about these big streamers talking about the game?
So to answer your first question about all the PC features, again, I'm fairly new to PC gaming, at least in the sense of like when I was a kid, I played games on a computer, whatever. Like I never paid attention to technical aspects because usually, like my family had like half decent computers that could run games. So whatever, I never pay attention to it. But I'm fairly new to PC gaming when it comes to actually paying attention to all the options and everything.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not a PC gamer by any means, but it's really nice to see that there's a wealth of options you can choose from. It's nice you can tweak so much too, because there's some games I play on PC now where you go into the options and there's maybe only like resolution or texture quality or whatever, like the basic shit. But it's so cool that there's all these different tweaks you can do because everybody plays differently, and it's nice that you can kind of make it your own as opposed to fighting with the interface or the UI or whatever. So it's really cool
Yeah.
in that aspect. Again, there's so much that was mentioned in this Inside Infinite.
A lot, yeah.
It's nice. It's good for people to read through it. Maybe maybe I'll throw a link to it in the description for this episode. But
Yeah, we'll have to throw a
by
couple
all
things
means, people that are more into PC gaming than me, or at least are more hardcore, it'd be cool to get their opinion because again, I'm fairly new to it, so it'd be kind of cool to see what other people think. And two, in terms of seeing big streamers talk about it, it's good. I mean, clearly they have interest in wanting to play it. I mean, whether or not they base their whole, playing experience on whether or not they're going to play it, if there's a battle royale or not, is a different story. I don't know if that's maybe a negative connotation towards the game because if you have a big audience and your audience primarily watches battle royales, let's say like Warzone, Fortnite, whatever. I'm hoping that doesn't take away from people wanting to play Infinite because these streamers wouldn't want to play Infinite if there wasn't one, which I don't think is the case. But I'm saying there's potential for that in any aspect. But I think it's just cool because it just gives more exposure to a game that I think is going to blow up when it releases eventually this year. But it's just cool that they've already kind of got people thinking about it early on, without a beta, without any real concrete new video. That's more substantial than like the original gameplay we got last summer.
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing. I don't watch streamers by any means, except for you, obviously. But it's just cool that people are interested this early on, especially since again we haven't had a chance to play it. We haven't had a chance to even sign up to play it. Yeah, I mean it's Halo getting more exposure. I mean, Halo doesn't really need the big exposure anymore. I mean, it's a pretty established franchise as it is, but it's just cool that it's going to get even more exposure in this whole other audience that might not even think about like because when we talked about MCC getting majority of its PC player base is new players. I mean, this could open up even more new players to coming to Halo, especially when Halo Infinite is, and I know we made this mistake with Cyberpunk, but like Halo Infinite's slowly shaping up to be really one hell of a game from the sounds of it. So
yeah, absolutely.
It's just cool. It's just good news all around, I think.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything negative said or positioned or even shown in this Inside Infinite. Like most of the other Inside Infinites as well. I think this is just more good news. Everything they said sounded good. It's not a port. It's built from the ground up. Everything they're putting into it sounds great. And clearly there's, the streamers are interested. These big guys who, big guys and girls who want to play Halo because they grew up playing it. Like they want it to be good, And what I just hope doesn't happen here is that if it doesn't have a battle royale, they disregard it. Because I think there could be a situation or a future here where it doesn't have a battle royale. I think that's pretty likely, actually. And if it doesn't have a battle royale, I don't want them to completely disregard it and say, oh, well, I can't play that because my audience watches battle royales. I think that watching competitive Halo is some of the best stuff, man, in terms of, like, pro gaming. Competitive Halo is on a whole other level, in my opinion. And clearly there's other games that do this good, like the Call of Duty League's big, Overwatch League is big, right? And those aren't battle royales. Obviously Call of Duty has Warzone, but these other games also succeed without having a battle royale. So I think that there's a situation in the future here where Halo Infinite doesn't have a battle royale, and that's okay. And whether that's another big mode, like a big team battle 2.0, or whatever the hell they're planning, or if it's just a really, really tight multiplayer experience where it's Slayer, Slayer, capture the flag, oddball, all that stuff. I just hope that they don't disregard it and they give it a shot, because I do truly think that, it's almost the perfect storm with Halo Infinite multiplayer being free to play. It's coming to PC. PC has all these new people introduced to Halo. It's not a port. It's built from the ground up. This is the longest dev cycle for a Halo game ever. Brand new engine. There's a ton of nostalgia for Halo right now in everything. Like, it's the perfect storm. So I just hope that they don't disregard it. But I guess either way, I'm going to play it. So I don't really care. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's kind of like I was saying before too. Like, I just kind of hope that, actually, I guess to make a new point, what I was kind of piggybacking on when exactly what you were saying, just to hope they don't disregard it, because they obviously want to make content that people are going to watch, because guys like Ninja, play prior. I'm also very new to my knowledge is a little limited here, but Ninja kind of gets his fame from playing Fortnite. So if he plays. Yeah, I don't know what it is nowadays, but I mean, if he didn't play Fortnite primarily, his audience might grow or shrink. You don't know. But if you have an established fan base and they're consistently watching you do one thing, you're obviously going to want to do that one thing. And I'm kind of hoping, like you were saying, it wouldn't take away from it. I lost the point I was trying to make. I'm just kind of confirming what you said.
Man. Like, I think it's scary for them personally, because ultimately they're running a business and they want to have as many viewers as possible and to make the best content possible, because that's what makes them money. So if they notice they're playing Halo Infinite and they have, considerably less viewers and are making less money per stream than when they play Warzone, that's discouraging, right? They're obviously not going to want to do that. But you still see guys, like I said before, like Nick Merckx has played plenty of Halo, actually, playing MCC with a lot of his streamer buddies, because they grew up playing it, and he wants to play it all the time. He says it on stream. He loves playing Halo, but it's just tough for him because, Warzone pulls in such massive numbers for him that he can't just play Halo all the time, even though he probably could, because he's now a millionaire. But still, you get my point. They're making their money, and you can't blame them for that. But I hope that Halo Infinite pulls all these big streamers in. I just want to see Halo be on top again, like it was in Halo 3.
Yeah, man, Halo 3 for sure. Definitely. And again, I know I flip-flop. It really depends on the day you ask me, but it's either Halo 3 or it's Diablo 2. But in terms of shooters, far and away, Diablo 3.
Halo 3.
Oh my God. Halo 3. Diablo 3 is its own thing. Halo 3 for sure is kind of like the gold standard when it comes to, I think, console shooters for me, in terms of just, everything about it, the feel, the gameplay, the guns, whatever. But I think it's really exciting that, based on everything we've seen, Halo Infinite, it seems like it has a legitimate shot. I don't even want to say recapturing Halo 3, but, climbing close to getting to its level. Because I don't think anything will ever top it for me, for a lot of reasons. But, man, Halo Infinite could very well be like, I don't even want to jinx it, but I'm going to just, I'm going to cross my fingers or toes, whatever people are superstitious do when it comes to saying this kind of stuff. But it could be a masterpiece based on what we've heard. Now, what we've seen so far with the demo, not quite there yet. But again, that's like a totally different build of the game that's probably not even existent anymore. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think
there's so much potential here. It's really exciting, and I think that's why I like talking about it so much, is because it's exciting. And now that E3 is coming around the corner. And just they do these blog posts each month that are super in depth and super informative. And there's hidden stuff inside the blog post, like you were saying. You're gonna have to show me after the show's over about the chopper, because I've been looking this whole time and I don't know if I'm seeing it or not. But anyway,
it's super small, but it's there. Yeah,
it's just exciting. I don't know. Like, there's the news seems to only go up with Halo, which is, I guess, a good feeling. Especially since the one other game I was super hyped about last year, like when Halo was still coming out, with Cyberpunk, how that turned out at first, and how I'm still kind of back and forth between whether or not I should keep playing it or not. But yeah, I'm excited. Long story short, I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too, man. And I think my platform of choice is still going to be the Series X. Obviously, that's why I got it. But Yeah, I'm not I don't think my PC could really run Infinite that well either way. But yeah, I think this is great for PC people. It shows their commitment to making a really good Halo PC game, and they've shown that with MCC, and now they're going to continue that with Halo Infinite. So again, free to play multiplayer. The more people playing Halo, the better. You know, open up the ecosystem, in my opinion. Let's get everybody in. Let's get everyone playing Halo again. But let's talk about the last quote here, and they end every single Inside Infinite with a quote from Joe Staten. Famously, Joe Staten, obviously a big time to, you know, one of the big names from the original Halo trilogy, and ODST and Reach as well from Bungie days, and now is one of the project leads for Infinite. I forget his exact title, but I think he's basically overseeing the development of the game at this point. But here's the quote. Quote: "It's cliche to say a picture is worth 1,000 words, but honestly, I'm gobsmacked every time I see Halo Infinite in ultra-wide or super ultra-wide format. Halo games have always aspired to fully immerse you in a sci-fi world filled with mystery and adventure. But playing Infinite in 21:9 or 32:9, the Halo world enwraps you like never before, especially if you have one of them fancy, curved, ultra-wide monitors. And just wait until you see the game's cinematics in these formats. What I do think bears some additional words aren't what features we're building for PC, but rather who is doing the building. One of the best parts about being the new guy on Halo Infinite is that I get to meet a whole bunch of people. While Jeff and Mike, and those are two guys who were kind of talking about it in the blog post, are too self-effacing to say this themselves in my career, they are two of the most talented, dedicated, hardworking, and humble people I have ever met. They're working exceedingly hard to make the Infinite PC experience as great as it possibly can be. And the good news is, when I look across the whole team, Jeff and Mike aren't alone, not by a long shot. As we head into the shutdown and polish phase of the project," I'm going to pause it there for a second. Shutdown and polish phase. So, I mean, there you go. Now they're just polishing up the game at this point. They just said it, right? They're heading into the point where they're basically just squashing bugs. So, very exciting. As we head into the shutdown and polish phase of the project, I wish all of you could see the incredible work that I have the privilege of playing every day. The same intense commitment to making a game that you, Halo's most ardent fans, will love to play exists across the whole team. Finally, a brief customer service announcement. While I hope you enjoyed this month's 1,000-word screenshots, we know that games videos, are worth at least 10,000 words. And the great news is that summer, i.e. game industry event season, is just around the corner, and there are glorious plans afoot. Stay tuned, Spartans. So there you go. Joe was just talking about how, he loves playing the game on PC, obviously. He's never going to say anything bad about the game, right? You got to take that with a grain of salt. But sounds like he's really impressed with how the team is making it. Important little update on the game is that it's going into the shutdown and polish phase of the project. So they aren't really doing any drastic changes or doing anything at this stage of the game. They're really just squashing bugs, and they're getting it ready to ship. And probably really just getting the beta ready to go as well, right? That's probably a big part of it as well. That's good that they are getting ready for that. We're going to be experiencing that very soon, I imagine. And good to know that, hey, they recognize it, and it was important for them to say it, in my opinion. They've shown us a lot of screenshots in the last several months, whether it was the new armor customization or, the new screenshots of the ring and the day-night cycle, or today's screenshots, which are the ultra-wide format ones. They recognize that, like, hey, we can show you as many screenshots as you want, but you just want to see the game running now, right? Like, we haven't seen the game run since last July, and the game was supposed to come out in November, right? So that's a long time. They recognize that. He acknowledges that. And he said, hey, look, like, E3 is right around the corner. That's what he was mentioning, right? E3 is, the first or the second week of June. So I think it's the second week. So that's like 6 weeks out at this point. So yeah, 6 weeks until we see more Halo Infinite, and this time running, not just a screenshot. So I am very excited, and the fact that he said that there are glorious plans afoot sounds like it's maybe more than just a trailer, right?
Yeah, I think so too. I'm thinking we get I don't want to say we're gonna get like a playable demo like to download on Xbox, but I think we're gonna see a demo, not not obviously the exact same, but like similar in nature to what we got before, where it was like a chunk of gameplay.
Yeah.
That's got to be it. Like maybe they'll announce a beta, maybe they'll
Well, yeah, they already
maybe they'll
announced the
make a
beta.
playable
That's
demo.
going to happen. That's the flighting. It's just a matter of
But
when that happens.
yeah, I mean like a concrete date or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it'd be super cool if we got like even if it was just like well, okay, this is also a beta, but like even if we just got like a mission in the campaign, or like even just like if you don't want to give away spoilers, like a side mission that only takes you like 20 minutes, like I'd be down to play some demo. That'd be I don't it won't happen, granted, but
Yeah, I think
I
the
don't think Halo's
campaign
that
is.
game.
I think the campaign is unlikely for that because they would probably have to make a vertical slice of the campaign where they're not revealing any spoilers, and they'd have to make sure that demo is in excellent shape, probably better shape than the rest of the game. Right, so then they would have to focus efforts on the demo rather than the game. And a famous quote from Marty O'Donnell, which I was listening to yesterday about the Halo 2 and the E3 fiasco, about how the original Halo 2 demo wasn't really Halo 2, and that was that when you're spending more time working on the show rather than working on the game, you have a problem. So I think that that remains true with any game, in that I would rather them not give us a campaign demo if it meant that they were taking time away from just making the overall game better. Now, I think there's the exception with that is multiplayer, where I think it absolutely needs a stress test, because the last thing that you want is for the game to come out and day one nothing works, right? I think that's where multiplayer kind of bucks the trend there, and you gotta put out a multiplayer flighting system, some kind of beta, test the servers out, and get some initial feedback on how the game plays too. It's important, but I think a vertical slice of the campaign is unlikely. But who knows? Maybe they already have something in the works, right? Maybe all this extra time has kind of afforded them the opportunity to do that. I would certainly love to see it, but I just don't think it's going to happen.
You know what, actually, and I was just thinking this when you were talking. You know what I would like to play? I know it's totally, for people who don't know anything about the last demo, this might like totally ruin people's image of the game when it comes out. I think it would be pretty cool if they released that original demo they played, even though yes, it's nowhere near what the new game's going to be. But whether someone just like leaks it after the fact or something, I think it'd be pretty cool to play that original demo we got last year, just to kind of get I don't know, just like it's like a piece of history at this point, really.
It is. Yeah, that'd be interesting to play for sure. I mean, I guess my worry about that is that if they officially release that, it would give or an inaccurate, representation of the game, right? People would play that and be like, "Oh, what the hell?" Right? Whereas,
like if you didn't know about it beforehand, you might think this is Halo that's coming out. Like this is kind of stupid, or this isn't. Exactly
it wouldn't be accurate to what's coming out, right? So they would always want to put their best foot forward. But I think maybe if you got leaked after or something, I wouldn't complain. I'd like to play that too. That'd be interesting.
Realistically, I'll say what I'm hoping for come around E3 time or whatever, whenever they decide to show stuff closer to summer. I think a cool like game like mix of like kind of what we had at the end of the original demo, a kind of mix of like gameplay and cinematic trailer, but make it like extended. Like let's have a lot of gameplay shown, because we've had a lot of screenshots the last while, like a lot of screenshots. So let's just get videos from here on out. Like we've seen a lot of screenshots. Let's just get videos. So I think it'd be pretty cool if we got just some, even if it's multiplayer gameplay. I don't really care. Like I just want to see, and this is kind of what Kevin was talking about with us, like in our group chat, is just like screenshots are one thing, but like we need to see the game. And I think E3 would be the perfect time to really show the game. If they don't show it at E3, I think they will.
They're absolutely going to show it at E3. If they didn't show it at E3, they're delaying the game again. And they're not doing that. There's no shot. Knock on wood.
I'm excited. Again, I say it's like every Halo Infinite story. Long story short, I'm just really excited to play it. I'm excited for what this game is going to potentially be, and I'm already excited for what this game is from what we've seen and heard through all these Inside Infinites. So yeah, excitement is in the air.
Absolutely. And I think quickly to talk about E3, I think that's exactly what he's talking about here. He's mentioning that summer game industry event season's just around the corner, and they're going to be showing lots of videos, so that's good. But I think for Xbox's E3 conference, just thinking about the format of the show, and if you remember from last July, Halo Infinite was the first thing they showed in that showcase. And I think they'll do the same this time around, where the first thing they'll show is Halo Infinite at E3. And I think the reason for that is if you don't show it first, all everyone's going to be thinking about during the entire show, no matter what you talk about or show, is going to be where's Halo, right? So I think what you have to do first is show Halo and then give everything else room to breathe. So by the sounds of it, Xbox is going to have a pretty massive show this year, based on all these new studios they acquired, and a lot of them have been working on quietly working on projects for a few years now. All the Bethesda stuff is happening. Apparently, Starfield's really close to being done. Like, there's so much happening where I think, what you got to do first, and this is kind of an aside, is just, hey, show Halo Infinite, show some gameplay, show a campaign re-reveal, and then maybe show some multiplayer. Or have an announced date for multiplayer beta. I would hope they would show 2 trailers, actually. I hope they would have a campaign trailer and then a multiplayer trailer. But
yeah, that'd be cool.
Maybe a reveal of the big new mode, right? Whether that's a battle royale or if it's big team battle 2.0 or whatever the hell they're making. But yeah, I think they start the show with Halo and then they go through the rest of their stuff. But yeah, it sounds like we're not going to be waiting that much longer, man, for some news about Halo. Or some videos, I should say.
Yeah. Hype train is officially off the rails for me right now.
Yeah, we got to check ourselves because we haven't seen it. But
yeah, I know the dangers of hype.
But the thing is, I mean, here's the thing, man. Halo's pretty safe. I'm probably gonna like it. I like Halo 5. Even the campaign obviously has its problems, but I love the multiplayer. And judging from what we saw last summer, it's not like they completely changed the game from last summer. It's still gonna play the same. So I'm going to like it. I know I'm going to like it. It's just a matter of, is the campaign, groundbreaking and jaw-dropping like they're talking about with this new open world and all the stories and all that? And is the multiplayer going to, capture the world's attention again? That's all. That's kind of all we're waiting on.
It will retake the crown. I hope it'll never, and just speaking bluntly, it'll probably never top COD. Not consistently. At first, it probably will for numbers, but I think Halo has the potential to kind of become like the king of multiplayer again.
Definitely does.
Especially with everything we've seen with the multiplayer screenshots and this. I can't remember. We had Inside Infinite about like multiplayer stuff not too long ago.
Well, it was mostly just about, I don't know. It wasn't necessarily multiplayer stuff. We saw armor customization. And we saw
some of the maps too.
Well, yeah, we saw like a screenshot or 2 of one of the maps. Yeah.
Yeah. So just, I don't know, just all the things we've heard and all the things they say they're working on and all that. I think there's potential for this to be like a new go-to for, I think, us in general, especially since, well, between you, Harley, and I know you'll buy it to own it. And I might too. I'm kind of on the fence about it, but it's coming to Game Pass. And it doesn't even matter about like the campaign's coming to Game Pass, I should say, because multiplayer is going to be free to play.
Exactly.
So you're going to have. Well, I mean, look how big Warzone is. And
yeah, man. How many
Call of
people?
Duty's very popular, and Warzone's popular. Halo is super popular too. So
yeah, there's a ton of nostalgia for it, and the fact that it's free to play. How many people are just going to try it, and that's good.
Like, it makes me wonder if this is going to be the way going forward with certain properties, because like when Gears of War 6 eventually comes out, will that multiplayer be free to play? Because I know COD technically isn't free to play because Warzone's its own thing, but I guess maybe based on the success of Halo Infinite's free multiplayer, maybe this would be the way to go forward. Is pump a lot of your time and resources into both multiplayer and campaign, and you can kind of do it separately if you have one being kind of its own thing. So I don't know. I'm talking to my butt right now, so.
Yeah, no, that's an interesting question, though. I think I wonder if this will be the new way to go for Xbox multiplayer games moving forward. If Halo really knocks it out of the park, certainly I think Warzone's proven that the best way to make money is just to have as many people playing your game as possible. Same with Fortnite, same with Apex, right? It doesn't matter if it's free to play because you monetize your game through in-game skins and microtransactions, and as long as those aren't invasive and intrusive, which I think Warzone and Fortnite and Apex have done a good job of, right? They don't force you to buy anything. You can always play the game. You're not at a tactical disadvantage, right? So as long as you do that, I think it's completely fine. Either way, excited. I think it's time to wrap up the topic. Any last words?
No, just I'm excited for E3, and I'm excited for whatever they decide to announce in the coming month or so, I guess, because E3 is early June. So yeah,
definitely. Yeah, we're gonna see more of that. coming very soon. We got one more Inside Infinite before then at the end of May. Or at least we should. Unless they announce that they're not doing that because they're at E3. But we'll see. But regardless, that is the Inside Infinite. And that is Infinite Watch.
Cortana.
Goodbye, John.
Alright. Okay, cool. That wraps up all the news. This is a long episode, but that's okay. We had lots to talk about. Let's talk about what we're looking forward to playing. We'll start with you.
Honest to God, man. And I was kind of saying this to myself before I came on. I'm looking at, the physical games I own, and I'm kind of debating, like, maybe I should, because my goal initially at the start of whenever I decided to kind of do this big hit list of stuff I wanted to beat was to, do all my physical copies first.
Yeah.
So I can eventually trade them in or whatever. Hasn't really worked out that way. Let me look over. I've beaten, I have 13 games sitting there, maybe 2, admittedly, but I think a game I've owned for a very, very, very long time that I kind of want to beat, and I don't think I've ever talked about this with you or Harley, so this might be unexpected, is Prey, the original Prey, the one that came out in 2006.
Oh, interesting.
I have the Xbox 360 copy, so I have it installed. And it's a game I've always wanted to play through, even when it was first coming out and everything. So I mean, that'd be pretty cool. I want to play more Disco Elysium, obviously. More COD, more Fortnite, all the standard stuff. But I think more importantly, with all this Halo news coming out, I really just want to play some MCC.
Yeah.
I kind of want to get some multiplayer action. I don't know about you. Not even necessarily custom games, but I just want to play Halo now.
Yeah.
Talk about it enough.
Absolutely.
And I will say, I think anyway. I think I'm gonna start Torchlight 2 this week.
Nice.
I think I'm gonna. I'm excited enough about Diablo now. I don't want to go through Diablo 3 again on PC. I want to do it on console.
Yeah.
For a harder playthrough or a different character. But I'm looking at my desktop right now. It's either gonna be Max Payne 3 or Torchlight 2. I start next.
There you go.
One of the two. Because I know they won't take too long to go through. I'm looking at, I got Witcher. I have all them installed. Cyberpunk, Disco, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, Lunch Lady. All these games that are going to take a while. And I kind of want to play a couple that I can go through before that. So, yeah. What about you? What are you excited to play?
Yeah, I'm excited to play all the standard stuff usually. Fortnite, COD. Excited to keep playing NHL 21 on stream, having a good time with that. Excited to start my Combat Evolved playthrough. That's going to be a great time. I'm going to play exclusively on the old graphics. I'm not going to play on Anniversary.
Hell yeah. You know what? God bless
Anniversary. Dude, it's so much better.
The original version's better.
Oh, dude, it's night and fucking day. Anniversary's a sin, in my opinion. they ruined it. Everything is so bright.
Yeah.
It doesn't even look the same. But anyways, the original is obviously a classic. So looking forward to playing through that. Other than that, I'm thinking I did install Resident Evil 7 before the pod, so I'm thinking I'm going to start playing through that again. Or not again. I'm going to start to play through that on stream as one of my games.
It doesn't take too long either. That you can get through that in well, it depends on how long you play. Probably 3 or 4 streams, I'd say. It's not like a super, super long game. If you kind of know what you're doing after a while, you can blow through it. I could blow through it now, but yeah. At first, I took my time at first. I think it took me, I don't know, 10 to 14 to 15. I can't remember how long it was, but it wasn't super long.
Yeah, it wasn't super long. Yeah, so probably a couple streams, but that should be fun for everybody watching. Going to be I don't know. When I'm with the boys, I'm pretty scared when we're playing horror games, and I'm not going to be with the boys, so I'm going to be very scared.
I'm going to have to watch you stream that. It'd be interesting to see how you like it.
The reaction should be pretty good, but yeah, I'm looking forward to playing it. So I think I'm going to be playing that.
Maybe
other than that, just excited to play Halo in general, man. I'm always down. I'm going to play some more Genshin Impact probably as well.
Is that an Epic game? What? Okay, stupid question. Very quick before we end, is that open world anime style Breath of the Wild game you guys have talked about, or is that a different one?
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's not on any launcher. You have to download it from their website.
Okay.
So so looking forward to playing more of that. That's pretty much it. I guess we'll have the outro now. Let's roll the outro. You good to do that?
Yes, I can.
All right.
If you want to subscribe to us on YouTube here so you can know when we go live. Hit the subscribe button, obviously. Give it a like, comment on the VOD, or comment live when we're on air. Everything helps. Everything helps us out in the end.
Yeah, we would love a
Click the
subscribe if
bell.
you guys liked what you saw, and even if you didn't, subscribe and then let us know in the comments. You can
You know what?
shit talk us in the comments. We're ready for it.
We had one guy that didn't record Diablo 2, and it's like, sorry, dude, I'm not in the exclusive club for the beta. God bless you, sir, but whatever.
I want him to get mad at us again. Seriously.
Yeah.
I will start
You know what?
fights in the comments. Let's do it.
I should. You know what? I'm surprised he hasn't commented already saying, Lane, this isn't even Halo Infinite.
This isn't even
'Cause,
Halo Infinite. Yeah, exactly.
We could just loop to the original demo. Anyway, regardless, you can like us at Facebook. We're at Follow My Tracers there. On Twitter, we're at FMT Show. Tony, where can they find you?
Everyone can find me at twitch.tv/figure09 and on Twitter at figure09tv. How about you?
If you want to find me, just search Power Grudge on Xbox, Steam, GOG, Epic Games, everything. Just search Power Grudge. I'm mainly on Xbox though, so yeah, name on the screen is the one there. And for those listening but not looking at the screen, it's Power Grudge. Simple.
There you go.
Very, very simple. I need a sound clip to end us on. We'll say our goodbyes and I'll play a surprise one
Okay,
here.
cool. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Really appreciate it. I know we had a couple minutes of audio issues at the start, but those cleared up pretty quick and wasn't a problem after that, so that was good. So we'll put a little disclaimer at the start of the video afterwards. I'll have to remember to do that tomorrow. Just saying, hey, like skip ahead to this timestamp because the first minute or two is just us trying to understand why the Discord audio was screwing up. But I think it was because Microsoft Edge was open on my computer. When I closed that, it seemed to get better. So, but either way, appreciate everyone sticking through that and everyone for listening and watching the show. We really appreciate all the support. We're trying to get better every week, and I know this was actually, I think, our longest episode so far, which is crazy.
Yeah, I don't think we've gone over 2 hours before. Yeah.
So you and I can, I don't know, we could talk forever, but I think we gotta keep it a little shorter next time. Not because I don't like talking to you, man. I love talking to you, but I think for the viewers' purposes, we can condense some stuff as well. But regardless, I should say.
Very funny.
Got that sound clip or what, bud?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I do.
Again, thanks everybody for watching, and for anybody who wants to comment that I didn't record Halo Infinite for this week, I just want to give you a firm reminder.
I've got balls of steel.
Hell yeah.
Bring it on.
Fight us.
Don't actually. We appreciate you guys.
We appreciate everyone. Fight us in the comments. We will pick those. I'm picking a fight with everybody listening right now. Start a fight with me in the comments. Say something. I'll say something back.
You know what I'll say?
Call the judge and get some fudge.
Call the judge and get some fudge. That's right.
I gotta get more clips from that.
Absolutely. Are you okay? No. That's a good clip. Okay. Thanks everyone for watching. Appreciate it. We'll see everyone next week. Everyone have a good weekend. Play some video games. Goodbye.
Yep, bye.
Perfect.